This is Michael Woodward, and this is episode 57 of the Jumblethink podcast.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Jumblethink podcast, a podcast focused on helping you become a better dreamer and making those dreams become a reality. Along the way, we'll tell the stories of dreamers, makers, innovators, and influencers who are creating their big idea and changing the world around them. Our guest on the podcast today is Hamilton Perkins. More about Hamilton in a moment. Our guest on Thursday is Dustin Matthews. He is a mentor and coach to the stars. He is the co-founder of Speaking Empire, an author, and he's written over 8 books. He's been featured on Roku, Forbes, Entrepreneur, Fox News, USA Today, and Inc. magazine. Really cool guy, incredible story. You're not going to want to miss this episode. Do you have a big idea or dream and you don't know where to start? Jumblethink is here to help you. Not only do we have a killer podcast, but we also help those with big ideas and dreams reach them. Whether you have a simple question or you want to dive deep into long-term coaching, we're here to help. Swing on over to jumblethink.com, go to the Contact Us page. You can fill out the form there and reach us that way. Or you can drop us an email at hello@jumblethink.com. We look forward to being a part of your journey of chasing your big idea and dream and creating the world you want to live in. Now let's jump into our interview with Hamilton Perkins. I am super excited about today's guest. His name is Hamilton Perkins. His company creates designer bags. They launched their product on Kickstarter. They've been taken to trunk shows at Bloomingdale's. In their process to find the perfect bag, they interviewed over 1,000 travelers on their needs. Their products are green. They divert plastic bottles, save water, and create jobs. They create bags and shirts, and they have some more offerings coming down the road. Hamilton's offering a special deal for our listeners. Make sure you stay tuned to hear more about that special. Not only is Hamilton Perkins creating amazing products, but they have a philanthropic commitment to less developed nations. Recently, they traveled to Haiti along with the Clinton Foundation. It's a cool story. We talk about that, Kickstarter, talk about the products and the process of creating products, and so much more on this episode. So let's jump into my conversation with Hamilton Perkins. I am super excited about our next guest. His name is Hamilton Perkins. Hamilton, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Michael. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Now, you create a very cool product. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we make bags out of recycled plastic bottles and upcycled billboard vinyl. HPC manufactures uniquely designed, eco-friendly travel bags. They're handcrafted by Haitian artisans. We use bold pops of colors inside of each bag, and it creates a one-of-a-kind lining. And, we're selling our bags on our web store at hamiltonperkins.com and, starting to kind of venture out into the offline world as well.
That's really cool. We're going to dive more into the company in a few minutes, but let's start kind of with the origin stories. Tell us a little bit about you and what led you to starting your company, Hamilton Parker.
Yeah, so I basically went to school undergrad for marketing. Thought I was going to be like a marketing consultant or maybe start an agency. I worked independently in Washington, D.C. for a short period. I had prior experience in retail, so consumer insights were always like something that I kind of learned firsthand from being in a sales position and management positions. But I'd go on to take a job working in finance. So I worked in banking for a few years. Yeah, so I learned a little bit about consumer marketing, consumer banking, also commercial banking, investment management. And the last thing I was doing, I was actually working in wealth management.
Okay.
I got my MBA about 3 years in working at a bank. And that's pretty much when I came up with the concept for the Earth bag. I was looking for a bag that I could travel with. I was basically headed overseas. I was going to China. I was going to Hong Kong, Shanghai on a global immersion trip, and really was trying to find a bag that was made ethically and was definitely had, good like space and, was very utilitarian, but, it just wasn't as easy to find as I, kind of thought it would be.
Yeah.
So I kind of left that experience thinking, well, why don't I just make it for myself? So I made it for myself. I actually ended up, getting demand from, like friends and family. I've always had like side projects. So I had previously dabbled in the, excuse me, leather goods business. So I had, sold duffel bags, backpacks that were made of leather. So I kind of already had almost like a built-in customer base. And the interesting thing was half of that demand was always custom because, a customer might want a different pocket, or they might want a longer strap, or, you name it. And I kind of figured out that, all right, I want to make a bag. It's going to be made out of this recycled plastic. We're partnering with a company called Thread International. So we're able to make the bag from the recycled plastic bottles. But then we still need to have a little bit of like structure or like a body for the bag. And after kind of looking at some other problems that were happening, in addition to billions of plastic bottles being thrown away every year, turns out tens of thousands of vinyls from billboards are actually also going into service and therefore coming out of service. So you have all this excess inventory that's headed for landfills. And, kind of put one and one together. And, from there, we were also able to maintain that personal, that custom feel in the product. So no two bags are ever the same. You may get a bag that has maybe there's a smiley face on the inside, maybe it's an emoji or something on the inside, and then another bag could be like a tree, or it could be like a car. So that was really kind of interesting to us, and we followed that up. We did a Kickstarter campaign. We had a $10,000 goal. We hit that goal in under a week.
Wow.
We had a 6-month lead time before we were going to be able to ship out those products. So, naturally we had to keep ourselves busy. I eventually, I left my day job and I went out. I competed for what was called the Virginia Velocity Tour. It was sponsored by the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia and a venture capital fund called Village Capital. So our company won a $25,000 grant. It gave us a little bit more runway. We moved into the Old Dominion University Innovation Center, which is where I got my undergrad degree. And, we hosted a trunk show at Bloomingdale's. This was all kind of like headed into the holidays. So came back to Virginia from New York, where we had the trunk show at Bloomingdale's, shipped out, hundreds of pre-orders to customers, and then, kind of set the clock or timer to back to zero in terms of kind of inventory, and started our web store. So we've kind of just been growing the web store presence, and now we've hosted 3 trunk shows with Bloomingdale's to date, and starting to really explore the wholesale channel, and try to get the word out there. So again, we really appreciate you having us on your podcast.
There's a lot to unpack there. You've talked about a whole bunch of different things. Let's start with talking about the process of doing a Kickstarter. Now, you did your Kickstarter campaign, back in like 2016? Is that right?
Absolutely. Last summer.
Wow. And it was funded under a week, which is pretty awesome to meet your goal so quickly.
Yeah. Kickstarter is really, it takes planning. And I think today, or even just like in 2016, there was this thing called crowdfunding fatigue.
Yeah.
There's so many crowdfunding campaigns, and there are so many creators, and it takes a lot to stand out and to really, build your community there. So for us, we kind of started, very grassroots, very organic. I went through my phone and I text messaged, like my recent contacts, like, a very, very simple, kind of communication. I just said, I've been working on this project for the past couple of months. It's, called the Earth Bag. I'd love if you would, let me add you to the notification list when we launch on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And from there, it was basically, that was our initial email list. That was how we built the email list to communicate with the list on when we were going to launch. Because Kickstarter is, it's a very viral place to hang out. But if you don't come to it with your own community, you won't get to have the benefit of kind of leveraging its community. So, there's some standard things that you really want to happen. Like, you really want to become a project that they love. We were able to, fortunately, we became a project that Kickstarter loves. So you get a little badge, little purple badge on your project. The other thing you want to do is, you want to be on that homepage.
Yeah.
If you can populate higher on the list in your specific category, you're going to have a better chance of being seen and discovered versus if you're not as high on the list and you're not like new and noteworthy, basically. So, again, fortunately we had that. And then, the other thing that really kind of, I think, drives it home is being included in the email newsletter for Kickstarter, which is also, not necessarily like a real formula on how to do it. It's, kind of a, pretty much a subjective call by their team where they just look at your progress and potential, and then they make a decision based on how they'll share that with, kind of like, this massive list of, eager and, early adopters. So we did get featured in the newsletter. But, before we could get to all of that, we really, we canvassed, like from just our local state, like Virginia. We started with Virginia bloggers, reaching out, asking, was there any project that we could possibly work on where maybe we could work on a blog post, or maybe we could work on a photo shoot, whatever it was that we could do to kind of get the word out there and get some awareness around our project. And, eventually that turned into, tapping out at that level. You kind of, eventually you tap out at the local level, then you move on to kind of the niche and like regional level. So,
Yeah.
We were really fortunate. We got featured on some, kind of like big time blogs, like in our niche,
Yeah.
So Design Milk, that was a huge feature for us.
Yeah, they're massive.
Yeah, takepart.com, that was that was a huge win for us. PSFK blog, like that was huge for us. And once you kind of tap out there, then it's like, all right, well, what about like, the mass audience kind of sector? So, Forbes, the Washington Post, Fast Company, Money Magazine, they all picked us up.
Wow.
And, the other side of that is like creating content around like your story and around your actual project. And I was actually able to get a guest blog on the Huffington Post. So it's my own blog, or our company's blog, that now we can create content around like our space and around what we're doing. So, I think Kickstarter is definitely something that you want to plan for. It is extremely difficult, I think, in an environment where you're competing against budgets and ad dollars. Because now there's really like people just straight up taking Facebook ad budgets to Kickstarter, and they're crushing it. They're bringing $100,000 and $1 million funded campaigns, but it's all about kind of like having enough budget to like acquire a user. And it's tough because like I said, there's just so many campaigns, and it's hard to really get noticed. So the takeaway is for us was plan as much as you can ahead. Treat the campaign as if it's live before you go live, and actually follow up and ship the thing that you started out to make. So luckily and fortunately, we were able to actually ship out our products in time, as we, said that we would. And, we communicated all challenges and, kind of obstacles or hurdles to our backers. And we shared all of our wins with them as well. So, I'd say, that's kind of how we, use Kickstarter to really, basically kind of, get our company started.
That's really, really cool. One of the things you did early on, before you even launched your project, is you interviewed over 1,000 travelers on their needs, their desires, and what kind of product that they would want. Tell us about that process and what it taught you.
Yeah, so, we thought that the traditional design company, or I guess fashion company, it's usually going to have designers at the, kind of like manning the ship, like, driving the train, keeping the aesthetic in a certain direction, and, certain sensibilities, including, kind of all the perspective. And we wanted to get like the customer involved. We felt like, if you think about the fashion show, and just traditional distribution for, like a really long time. I mean, there's the designer at the fashion show, and then you would have the buyer at the fashion show and press. And the customer was typically not really there, technically. Like now, as we kind of look at the environment today, it's like you have all of those parties, but now the customer is there, and by kind of integrating social media, there's like this, there's a direct consumer channel. There's a direct relationship to the customer where, the customer isn't like left out of that process. So we just felt that, it would be very like appropriate to, begin the company by, talking to the people that would potentially be buying our products, and the people that had already pre-ordered many of our products. It would just, it would be practical to, learn from them, gain that empathy, and, kind of like use that to inform our mood boards, use that to inform, even our distribution strategy, and kind of like creating a product. So the products that we made, were kind of out of like a Post-it conversation. We brought customers and potential customers in to like, write on Post-its. And, I moved a few months back and kind of found some of those, early Post-its kind of in a box. But, some of the kind of ideas I still have here in our showroom, like someone wrote pockets. Let's see, pockets normally wear out over time, need strong stitching. So we made sure that our pockets would have, strong stitching. They have the vinyl from the billboard, so that also adds another layer of, quality. Quality is important. Someone says that, need a lightweight carry-on. These are all kind of like quotes. I'm just kind of, I'm trying to scan and like kind of read them. Some of them are like really detailed. Some customers actually sketched, what it would look like, or what they kind of would, imagine it looking like. So, it was a great way to almost like crowdsource the design of the product, which, was very, I guess, on brand with what we were doing in terms of launching on a crowdfunding website. So, it was at the end of the day a lot of fun, and we made a lot of new friends, and it turned into new customers as well.
Yeah. Now let's paint the picture of your bags, because obviously people are listening to a podcast. They're not looking at a picture, although we'll have pictures on the episode page on the JumbleThink website. What is the material like? Because when I think vinyl, when I think plastics, I think hard, crunchy. But when I see the pictures of your bags, that's not what's represented there. So tell us a little bit about the shape, the form, what it feels like, how big it is, everything like that.
I think the biggest thing that we overcome is to let customers know that there is no kind of lack of quality or hand feel from our bags. That if you can just picture like a traditional canvas bag, just like a normal canvas would feel, our bag feels just like that. They're soft. the inside is durable as well. It's made from a billboard vinyl, and a vinyl is actually like a poster flex, and there's normally different weights. So there's like 3 ounce, 7 ounce, etc. But it's made for outdoors, so it's already very strong, and it's not going to tear. It's made for outdoors. At the end of the day, that's where it comes from. So when you combine those two together, you sew them together, you get this simple duffel in recycled plastic bottles and billboards. We went very minimal on kind of the initial series, so not many like inner pockets or anything, but there is an outer sleeve for smaller tech items, and again, the lining designs are never the same, so that's not a mistake, or that's not like something that you would only see on that you will see on every bag.
Right.
It's always going to be different. These are the types of bags that are good for a weekend trip. So I'd say they're surprisingly, you'll be surprised by how many outfits you can actually pack. This is a spot cleaning material, so we wouldn't advise you to put it in a washing machine, but spot cleaning is perfectly okay. By putting let's say you're going to the beach or something and you have sand, you're going to be able to like turn the bag inside out, basically brush it off, or even rinse it off if you want, and then you could keep it out overnight, and you'll be good to go the next day. In a rainy setting, your stuff is going to stay virtually waterproof on the inside. The vinyl is it's not like a breathable kind of vinyl, basically, so it's not going to get water through it. And each bag recycles about 17.5 plastic bottles. You're getting about a yard of actual billboards. I think when customers after they carry the bag for a while, I think they're surprised at the fact that the bag is like the feel of it. There's no difference. You're not sacrificing feel, and that's our whole world. Like the eco-friendly world, it's always like getting this rap for like not being as cool, or like being a little too crafty, not like as design centric.
Right.
So that's the problem we want to solve. We want to make it be something that's fun, something cool, and unique.
That's really cool. And I've seen the pictures of the bags, and they look really cool. As you were describing the materials, I was going, I don't think that translates well over audio of how cool the bags look, or how soft they look. They look like a traditional bag when it comes to the look and potentially the feel of it. So that's really cool that you're able to take a resource that would probably go to waste and renew that into a product that is on point with what you would see from a canvas duffel, and have some really cool features built in that a canvas duffel would probably be missing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have shirts, basically they're made from recycled plastic as well.
Oh wow.
You really don't get the feeling of like a shirt that's recycled or anything. They're slim fit, 50% plastic, 50% cotton. The normal shirt is about 97% cotton. So by these shirts being half cotton, half plastic, there's about 400 gallons of water, less water that you're using to make it. So these are, your traditional, we would recommend you machine wash cold, tumble dry really low. And they're comfortable. So we've been kind of saying 50% plastic, 50% cotton, but 100% comfortable. And the shirts and bags are all under $100. We retail the bags for $95, and we retail the shirts for $25. So we try to get started with like a couple categories and expand from there. But even if you just, for now, if you check in on our Instagram account, you can see some of the just developments of the product design, and then just different kind of use cases for the bags and shirts, and then as we get closer to holiday, we'll be announcing a couple new products. So we're excited about that.
That's super cool. I love Instagram. I'm a big fan of Instagram. I was checking out your Instagram account earlier today. Love the photos you have. Love seeing your products incorporated to everyday life. It's really cool. Even some of the pictures that are from, your customers are, it's really cool to see the product out there in daily life.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And, we're always looking for, new photographers and artists, animals. I mean, anyone that's kind of, interested in what we're doing and, supportive of what we're doing. I mean, feel free to reach out. Either you can direct message us on Instagram, or you could even, just drop us like an email on our contact page on hamiltonperkins.com. And, we'd love to hear from you or work with you.
It's really cool. Now, one of the things that is really significant to you is the philanthropic edge of the company. You partnered with a company called Thread, or I think it's a company. Is it a company or a nonprofit?
They are a company. They're a for-profit organization. Their big mission is alleviating the world of poverty and cleaning up the world through a textile. So,
cool.
When you start out, I guess in our case, it's overwhelming because there's so many different options. There's so many different, like partners and suppliers that you can either work with, or that you can just go and do the research and do it yourself. Like, should you be vertically integrated? Should you, outsource? Should you contract? Like, there's lots of decision points. But really early on, we knew, like, hey, we don't know everything. We need help. So it was just like, meant to be, I guess, that, we would partner with Thread International, who was already doing great work, and they were working in Haiti, at the time, one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere, and, supporting dignified income opportunities through their responsible fabrics. And, by us using the fabric, we were able to, translate that as well to our end consumer, and continue to sell a bag that, for each bag sold, supports a dignified income opportunity. And, it's been really, kind of like this eye-opening journey. We recently got back from Haiti. I got a chance to kind of go to, one of the landfills where our plastic comes from. And, to kind of learn more about, like, the origin of the actual bottle, like, from the bottle all the way to the bag. Like, we were able to see the collection center owners, how they work. We were able to also tour a lot of the country, basically, and really learn more about, like, the artisanal sector, learning about our factory. We went to our actual factory, and, we got a chance to basically sit down with the factory officials and, really collaborate and just design, like, in person, like, our upcoming season, which, we're really excited about. This will be the first time that we'll, technically be kind of producing, thousands of products and of bags and shirts. And, we're on a, trajectory here to ramp up so that, we can kind of cross, like, the 10,000 unit mark by next year. So it's been a great, like, network, I'd say, from, like, starting out making earth bags, and we have some other collaborations in the country of Haiti that are coming up that we're also excited about. That, some of this stuff is just, and I'm not just saying it because I work at the company, but, it's like blowing me away, just like the level of talent from, some of these artisans, all of these artisans that, we're partnering with, and to have their story be told and for people to know more about it is, that's why we're really excited to come to work every day.
That's really cool. Now, you mentioned that earlier this year, I think it was in June, you went to Haiti with the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Haiti has kind of been through it. I mean, they had the earthquake, they had all this devastation. There's been so many issues with different organizations and overcoming the obstacles of helping that community. I love what you're how your business is taking so many times, I guess the better way to say it is so many organizations come in and they try to save the day and there's not sustainability in it. Hey, we're going to throw money at this. Hey, we're going to go do this. And I love that your business is creating a business similar to what Tom's Shoes or some of these other companies have done. And you're coming in and saying, no, we don't need to just give you stuff. What we need to do is create a sustainable model that is going to build a better life for you. So that's really cool. Now, tell us about your experience of working with the Clinton Foundation, your experience in Haiti, and maybe some of the concepts that you had a perception one way and now you're coming out a different way, and what you learned in that process.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, I think, it was an absolute dream to work with the Clinton Foundation. They're already doing, so much great work in the country that it really ended up being like, from the time we were on the ground, we went directly to like the National Museum of Haiti, which, this is a place where, there's just so much history in this one museum, and there's no cameras. You can't you can't really document. It's a very like respected place. There's there's leaders that are actually buried there and everything like that. So wow. They kind of gave us from the outset a lot of history on how the country kind of evolved over time, from days of slavery, all the way now to where it is today. And, just to kind of give just a background. And, I'll say, you can really see that the people of Haiti are just, resilience is not enough. That's not even enough, to describe it. I wrote a blog post. The headline was, the power of hope and resilience,
It's a great blog post, by the way. I read it in preparation for this really great post. And, if somebody in the audience has a chance, wants to hear and read a really cool blog post about what's going on there, it's definitely one worth reading.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I tried my best to, anytime I had some downtime, which, we were going every minute. From the first, I'm waking up in the morning, 6 a.m. I'm in the gym, and, and then after that I'm at breakfast, and then we're rolling. We're getting on the bus and we're headed to the next location. But I did my best to just kind of just synthesize my thoughts into blogs, just writing in my journal. I'm a big journal writer. I write in my journal every morning, every night. And, I think from the whole experience, we met another organization called JPHRO. And, it's basically, I don't want to mess up the name, but it's Haitian Relief organization. So they're basically partnering with Clinton Foundation as well to, continue to just provide that strength in the country. And I think, our work is just one, of course, one tiny piece in all the things going on. But I think the trip, it allowed us to kind of see how we fit, in this bigger kind of, puzzle basically. Yeah. And I just think, that it's just, we're just getting started. We're just kind of scratching the surface. We have, so many different projects and collaborations that are, in the works now that we actually were able to achieve. And, even just strengthening our relationships with our existing partners that are in the country, all of that was made possible by Clinton Foundation because, it's, once you get into Haiti, it's, getting around and, just getting on people's calendars, all of that, takes coordination and effort. And, for us, that was a huge lift, to help us, get things done. So, definitely glad to be to work with Clinton Foundation and to continue to be working with them on other ventures. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, and some of our listeners might be going, "Hey, there's been a lot of bad news about the Clinton Foundation," and every organization can do things maybe better at times, but you look at the Bushes, you look at other politicians that have across both spectrums of Republican, Democrat, Independents. A lot of them have really supported what the Clinton Foundation is doing. It's a great organization. There's a lot of good stuff that they do for sure.
Yeah, and I think you don't really know, you can't really be sure about things until you actually have experienced it, and then you can kind of make an opinion for it. That's the way I've always been. I wouldn't know what it's like to, work at a retail company or a fashion company or run a fashion company until I actually started it. And did it. So I'd say the same thing is about Haiti, or working with the Clinton Foundation. Until you've actually kind of done it, it's completely different. You can't always rely on kind of secondhand information or a headline. You have to sometimes just gotta go do it, experience it yourself, and then you can make an educated decision about it. So, but it's to your point earlier about Tom's. I mean, even seeing the work that they've done down there, to see some of their workshops and ateliers, it's just incredible. And we've been fortunate. We have an early employee from Tom's as an advisor of our company to bounce ideas off of and to kind of have as a mentor. And same kind of advice has always kind of been given. It's you'll learn things by doing things. That's kind of the idea. Is whether you're looking at a company like Tesla or something, they're going to make mistakes, but at the same time, they're advancing something that's bigger than just themselves or just their company. And, they're excited about making a future that they're creating their own future. So, that's kind of what we want to do. We want to, like you said, kind of irrespective of I guess, political party or, background, ethnicity, gender, all those things. It's kind of about making a future that you can be excited to be a part of and that you can, really be proud of. That's how we started. Was we wanted to make a better bag. We couldn't understand why there weren't bags that were made tastefully, easily accessible, out of basically recycled or upcycled materials. I mean, there's a big enough problem to see that, about 30 billion plastic bottles in the U.S. are thrown away every year, with, about just under a couple 100 pounds of plastic that the average American will throw away every year.
Wow.
Just to know that's already happening, that's a problem. That's great. But then, we want to ask ourselves and challenge ourselves, well, what can we do about it? We've got, the same thing that a lot of people have. We have the internet, we have time, and we can choose to focus on the problem, or we can choose to try to solve the problem. We kind of wanted to start the company with, a mission that would allow us to, it would be something that's really challenging, really difficult. But, I think for us, if we can't help address certain problems, then, we can't really picture, it's hard to picture the world operating that way. And when you get to that point, I think that's for us and from our experience, that's a good place to kind of start a company from, or that's a good place to start your idea if you're a young person and you just can't picture doing something else. I just can't picture doing anything else other than what I'm doing right now. I can't even imagine what else I'd be doing. So, finding that thing, that's just one man's point of view, I guess. But that's I think that's really important.
I think that's a great point of view. I want to ask this question about you're approaching business a little bit differently. And I think that a lot of companies are starting to think this way, especially at the entrepreneurial level, the launching level. You did a couple things interesting. You bootstrapped, which means you used the least amount of resources to accomplish your goal at the basic level. You've incorporated really taking care of less developed, undeveloped nations and using their workforce to give them livable wages to help them really move their lives forward. You've thought about the environmental impacts of your products and how you can take waste and make it into beautiful products. There might be an entrepreneur out there who has a big idea, or even a big CEO of a company who may be going, well, it's just too difficult to do it that way. Or what about American jobs? Or it's just cotton. Why do I need to think about these waste products and making them into beautiful products? What might be something that you would say to them to help them say, think bigger than what they're doing and about the sustainability and the responsibility as an entrepreneur or a CEO that they should be keeping in mind for what they're creating?
I think patience is really the one word answer, and I'll explain a little bit. I think, that if you look back in history, and it doesn't matter what industry. I mean, at the point, the caveman had a bag. He had a purse. Like, it's been documented.
Yeah.
Like you can go back like thousands of years, but it started with someone that wanted to solve a problem, and I think there's lots of vested interest in doing things the way that they have always been done, or doing things that are, really asking the question, well, what's in it for me, or what's in it for us? And that's general. That's just a general statement. Even as consumers, when we support companies or buy from companies, we're buying it because we're asking, well, what's in it for us? That's just facts. But I think when it comes to sustainability, and when it comes to kind of like missions and business practices, American jobs, I think the rising tide rises all ships mentality is a true statement. I also think that the way my career has always been positioned gives me a bias towards finding what I consider to be bigger problems, larger problems, or and I think when you apply business principles to bigger problems, you generally will have bigger results because there's more upside. It's kind of supply and demand. It's like economics. If you can work in a country or work in an area or a city where, there's a lot of upside, there's a lot of potential, you're going to be able to realize and impact more from my point of view than if you're already working with something that already has resources, something that, is kind of incrementally getting better. I think we all can kind of benefit from, having, I guess, kind of this, kind of like a democracy of, things, like it's why like Mark Zuckerberg is, bringing the internet like to virtually anyone on the planet, because just imagine what that does. It's great to make sure that, 1% of people on the planet have the internet, but what if 100% of people on Earth have the internet?
Yeah.
Now you have, because I wouldn't be here without the internet. Let's be clear about that. I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't. There would be no Earth bag. I would have never discovered your podcast. I can go down the list forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
And I think when you apply that kind of that school of thought to like your business principles or your business practices, I think that's where you start to see like these amazing like kind of white spaces that you'll notice and you'll see, well, why. You'll start asking why, and I think when you ask why like 3 or 4 times and like you're still asking why, like then I think that there's big opportunity. So, I would say to anyone, keep an open mind. I would say, ask why of yourself as well.
That's really good. As you were talking, I'm reminded of that John F. Kennedy quote where he's talking about the moon and he says, we don't do this because it's easy, but we do it because it's difficult. And I love that your product is solving difficult problems, bringing sustainability to resources and to people, and is helping to create a cultural shift. I think that's a beautiful thing.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Where do you want to take Hamilton Perkins next?
I think we're just getting started on like the simple product categories that we've, established. Certainly we started with backpacks, and, we shifted and we got new, suppliers, new factories, and now we will have backpacks again. So that's going to take kind of a lot of our time, but apparel is really interesting. The rate of price, kind of price parity to consumption, it kind of gets technical, but at the end of the day, because things are more affordable, people are buying more stuff, which creates more waste. So we see that as a big problem. We see that, there's still a lot of opportunity or potential in, really just offering like a sustainable basic. Just the idea of like a sustainable basic could, easily be a kind of 10-year journey for us. So we're really just getting started before we can, kind of telegraph too many like new things.
Yeah.
But, we want to try to have a growth rate or a pace that, allows us to really hit the scale that's needed so that, we can do more and that we can, have, more income opportunities created, more jobs, more plastic bottles diverted, more water conserved, more carbon emissions reduced. So we're still in, bag mode, and, we're in apparel mode. But I think, right now, basics are really like, that's our vision.
That's really, really cool. Let's dive into a couple rapid fire questions as we wrap up the episode.
Sure.
What are some tips that you would give someone with a big idea or a dream and they just don't know where to start?
I think that from my experience, starting with your personal needs is a really good place to start. Problems that you see in your everyday life, the frustrations that you have in your, everyday life. I think one, way to back into doing something is, even if you don't want to journal, just like jotting your thoughts down on a daily basis. Eventually, you're going to come to a day where, you write something down, and it may be on day one, but you're going to write something down that's going to be probably a problem, a frustration. Look at that frustration with, a proactive lens. Like, what can you do to solve it? Whatever it is, like, I mean, it can be anything. Like, like if it's a business problem, it might be, well, you wish you were more motivated when you work out, or maybe you wish you were more motivated when you're, at work, or whatever the problem is. You can come up with lots of problems, and then you can pick a way to solve it. The punchline with that is, if you're starting an idea, if you're an entrepreneur, you do need to sell it. So I would, test or iterate in that phase for as little bit of time as you possibly can. And then, I would get it out into the market and see if someone will buy it from you, or see if someone will pay you for it. That's what we had to do with our earth bags, and it's really difficult because, fashion is this very, and even retail is this very, it's almost like this unforgiving, place to be, because like, if you don't like have it be good enough, you're kind of written off for the next transaction. So
yeah,
we had to walk a line between having kind of an MVP, which, some don't agree that you should have an MVP ever, a minimum viable product ever. Some people just don't feel like you should have that in our industry. But then some people believe in, an MLP, a minimum lovable product. So
that's cool. I've never heard that. I like it.
I credit that to my creative team and freelancers that I work with. I think that's where I learned that one. But so if you can create one of those two, I would try to get it into the hands of your customers, or if it's a service, I'd get people using it, and see if someone will pay. See if you can get someone to pay you for it. That's how you do it.
That's really good. Now, you are a world traveler. Your brand impacts not only your clients, your customers, but also those people that work for you. What's one change that you'd like to see in the world?
I think the world change that I would like to see, well, the first one was, bringing sustainable into the kind of cultural center, I guess, for lack of better words. I think, there's been companies that have brought, the mission element, but not brought like the physical element of that sustainability. And, that's really something that I wanted to see. So we set out to do that. But I think beyond that, I think, just to have that inspiration, to be an inspiration to other companies or individual personal brands, whoever can, kind of be, inspired or find a spark from what we do. That would be something that, is important to me, because I think, we can always like be remembered in a way, like we're going to be remembered for something. So,
yeah,
I want to help like kind of shape, kind of like hopefully what we're remembered for, but like hopefully someone else, what they can be remembered for as well.
That's good. That leads perfectly into the next rapid fire question, which is, what do you want your legacy to be?
I think I want my legacy to be that I cared, I had fun, I was passionate, and that I did the things that I said that I would do. I think that if my kids one day they look, I don't have kids yet, but if they look back and look through videos or look at blog posts, I just would want them to basically be able to kind of see themselves in like what I did, and kind of use that to go further than what I did. Kind of learn from my mistakes. Kind of learn from the things that I have done well, and use that to put themselves in a better position.
I think that's really cool. Who or what inspires you?
I think being inspired is, it's almost like a state of mind, because, I can find inspiration from conversations. I can find inspiration from problems. I can find inspiration in music or travel. But I think, it's just kind of, it's almost like it's like an ongoing kind of state of mind. Always, I think just gratitude is the thing that really, all those things add up to one thing. I think it's being grateful, because like I said, I don't have to be here. It could be different. It could be much different. Different time, different place. This is a completely different story. So, I'm just so thankful that I get to do what I do, and that's enough. That's all the juice I need. That's all the, motivation that I need to get up at 5 a.m. every morning and, put in my 12 hours or put in my, I guess it's been probably more now, but, put in my 12 hours minimum a day, because I don't leave at 5.
Yeah.
But come in, do what I got to do, put my head down, and get things done. So, yeah.
That's good. What are you currently reading or watching?
What am I reading or watching? I'm definitely on podcasts a lot. I'm listening to, all kinds of different podcasts. I've really I'm following a lot of the Tesla news. Okay. I'm really interested in like what they do. Their mission being, I guess, to really advance sustainable transport. Yeah, I don't get a chance to really watch as much like television or anything. I've never really been like a huge like kind of watcher of TV or anything, but I can listen to audio and audio books. I listened to Shoe Dog recently, so big surprise there, right? That's Phil Knight's book.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love the story. I love the I love the hustle. I mean, I love, what they did to, to solve a problem, to bring sneakers, to the world in a different way, and to really just like shape and brand, over so many years. Like, their shoes, also had a really big impact on me, especially as an athlete. So
yeah, and that's Nike, right? For those people who might not know. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
no,
it's
that's
Nike.
fine.
So those are some of the types of things, I guess, that if I do get a chance to listen to, if I'm not like on a call or if I'm doing something like, I'll tune in and see what's going on.
That's really cool. Before we jump into the last question, how can somebody connect with you, find your product, and get it in their hands?
Yeah, so the easiest way to do that is at hamiltonperkins.com. You can find me there, and you can find our products there as well. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop us an email, or you can even you can tweet at us, or you can leave us a social media comment. We'll get to you that way. Your preferred communication style is okay with us. If you do come to our site and you decide to buy a product, we have offered a discount code, and we have a discount code for $10 off your first purchase. The code is JumbleThink. So at checkout, you enter JumbleThink, and you'll get $10 off your first order. We'd love to hear from you. So you buy a bag, buy a shirt, let us know your thoughts, leave us a review, and then your review will actually unlock. It's a 5% discount on your following order, and if you happen to share that review on social media, you will get another 10% off your next order. So total, you'll get 15% off your next order if you let us know your thoughts and share it. So JumbleThink at checkout, and hamiltonperkins.com. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's JumbleThink, all one word, right?
Absolutely. JumbleThink, all one word.
Perfect. Well, every episode I end with this final question. What is one dream you're still wanting to fulfill in your own life?
I think the dream in my own life is probably, it's probably just like a personal dream is, I do want to have kids one day. So I am married. So I can see that, becoming a reality one of these days. And, I think everything else is, I'm still doing it. So, it was definitely one of my dreams to, start a company to work in retail. When I was younger, I didn't really, I sold a lot of stuff, and I sold magazine advertisements to classmates as locker decorations. So I had like a locker decoration business in middle school, and then after that I went on to start a sizable eBay store, and I resold sneakers, and I kind of did all of that. But I guess the writing on the wall was I was an entrepreneur. I was a business owner even then. I just wanted to learn more and kind of get like a bird's eye view. So I ended up taking corporate jobs. But, my dream was always to just work in, retail or work in fashion. Like that was always my dream. Even if you look at my yearbook, I always say, a lot of people were already, if you read my yearbook, you would understand exactly like how, I guess I got here. Everyone's like, watch out, Ralph Lauren, watch out, Tommy Hilfiger. Like, and it's funny looking back on it, because I always thought it was funny, and I still think it's funny, but, people, I would like, it's always been like something that I was kind of supposed to do and like was my dream. So, just again, thankful that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and just, want to build a family. So that there I am.
Hamilton, it has been a sheer joy and a real privilege to have you share your story. It truly is inspirational, and I can't wait to see where you take the company and what you're doing. I think you're going to have a bright future ahead of you, and we wish you the best in everything you do.
Thank you so much, Michael, for taking the time out, and looking forward to hearing everything. Hopefully we can come back on, give you an update one day.
That would be incredible. Thanks so much for taking time out to share your story.
My pleasure.
Once again, I want to thank today's guest, Hamilton Perkins, for sharing his incredible story about his company and what he's creating. Don't forget to swing on over to hamiltonperkins.com and use the promo code JumbleThink when you check out, and you'll get a great discount when you're there. We'll have the links and the discount code in the episode notes and on the JumbleThink website. On Thursday, we have another incredible guest. His name is Dustin Matthews. He's the co-founder of The Speaking Empire. He's written 8 books, and he's also been featured on Roku, Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, Fox News, USA Today, and Inc. Magazine. Really cool guy, great story. You're going to want to make sure you check out that episode. I hope this episode has encouraged you on your journey to chase your big idea and dream, and take the risk to make the next step to move forward. If you want some help on your journey, JumbleThink is here to help you. Drop us an email, hello@jumblethink.com, or swing on over to jumblethink.com/contact, and we want to hear what your question is, or your thoughts, your concerns, your fears, how we can help you on your journey to create your big idea and dream. Thanks again for tuning in, and I want to encourage you, go out there, make one step to chase your big idea and dream, and create the world you want to live in.
Les mères de famille, les enfants, peuvent également prendre un moment revitalisant dans quelques mois, lorsque vous aurez bien saisi la technique et que vous serez maître de votre corps. Vous pourrez vous décontracter même en travaillant.